Pour yourself a fresh cup of awakening with Coffee with Wally, the podcast that brews enlightening discussions with a grind of the past and future. Join host and seasoned broadcast journalist Wally Wood of the Wood News Group and co-host Andy Valudes, the marine marketer and master strategist from Marketing Dynamics, as they explore the past, present, and future. Dive into a world where technology and globalization intersect with prophecy. Each week, Coffee with Wally links ancient and recent history to tomorrow, making sense of today's rapid changes through the lens of Revelation 13. Don't miss any episode. Visit coffeewithwally.com and subscribe for your weekly espresso of insight. Coffee with Wally, a fresh cup of awakening, awaits you. Coffee with Wally, where understanding our times becomes clear over caffeine.
All right, we're back. My name is Andy Valudes. I'm the host of Coffee with Wally here on the WebXtra with your host, Wally Wood. Hey, Wally, how you doing today?
And good morning to you, Sir Andy. How are you doing?
Doing really awesome. It's just been an awesome. We moved our recordings to Friday. It just seems like a more of a preparation for the weekend. Gives me time to work on the edits and get some things done. But we always have fun with these interviews we do, either the podcast or the web extras, where we actually feature guests and we do a Zoom experience. And so you have another. I don't know where you get these guests from, man. You have another powerful guest for our edition of the web extra.
Well, I thank you, Andy. Yeah, back when I was in the space program and had the National Space and Technology Association, where you and I hooked up, we got involved in the schools, and especially at the STEM level of the schools, and STEM being science, technology, engineering, and math. And we got pretty involved, and we had a lot of schools participate, and teachers, professors, you name it. And so we've maintained to some degree that interest. On LinkedIn, we have our NSTA page, and we've changed it from the National Space and Technology to National Science and Technology. And we've got pretty close to 800 members now on our LinkedIn page, and they are predominantly professors, teachers, and students in the world of STEM. And so as I've been dealing with these people and things of this nature, I made the discovery of something called the National STEM Honor Society. Well, that got my interest piqued, and I'm wondering what kind of an honor society is there for science, technology, engineering, and math. So I did some background research, and for our audience, this is what I would consider our public service program. It has nothing to do with the main topic of this particular set of programs, but given the fact that we are in these advancing technology times, I felt that this was apropos for where we are in our society today in these areas. If you recall, Andy, I was on Tina Griffin's Counterculture Mom show a few weeks ago, and that can be found on this page as well. We were talking about UFOs and my 20 plus years in the space program. And I was making some connections back to scripture and history and things like this. And she asked me the question. She said, if students want to get into the space program, where do they start? And my answer was, get into your school STEM program, because that's where you're going to find the groundwork that you need to get into that particular industry. So on today's program, we're interviewing Ken Hecht, who is the president of the National STEM Honor Society. So Ken, welcome to the program, Coffee with Wally.
Thank you so much. It's great to be on Coffee with Wally.
Yes, we've got our coffee cups right here, and I assume that you're having coffee as well. These, there you go. These
Boston.
Now, where are you broadcasting from, by the way?
I'm right outside of Boston, Massachusetts. So MIT and Harvard are about 15 minutes that away.
Really.
It's really exciting to be in this area. So much, worldwide, education going on.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that we wanted to accomplish with with NSTA was to host annual global technology conferences here in Space City, USA. And we were on that track until they closed down the shuttle program. And it changed our dynamics as well. But I want to find out about you. I interviewed people, and I want to find out facts about people. Okay. So There's not much about you out there personally. So I want you to share with us, first of all, your background and what brought you to this particular position as president of this particular organization.
Well, thank you. That's a great question. And thanks for having me. It's great to speak with your audience, and hopefully we can help some people out there. So my name is Ken Hecht. I'm president of the National STEM Honor Society. And this is my father's retirement ring from the Chicago Fire Department. All right.
Oh, really?
So I grew up on the south side of Chicago, one of 5 kids. And my mom stayed home and raised the kids, and my grandma lived with us. So there's eight of us in a little city worker house on the south side. And I was pretty good at science and math all the way through. I went to Catholic schools, elementary, middle, and high school. There's an old joke in Chicago: there's only 2 religions. There's Catholic and there's public. Those are the 2. No. Anyways, I got really lucky, and I did pretty well at science and math and all that stuff in high school. And I got a lucky shot off, and I went to the University of Illinois at Champaign-Urbana. Who knew it was this amazing engineering school? I didn't know. It's the number 7th ranked engineering school in the United States. So I got a lucky shot off. So what drives me is to not have kids get a lucky shot off. Our moniker is from pre-K to career, right? So yes. I'm going to get into that a little bit more. But the point is, we're really excited about having kids in this global landscape of competitiveness. This is a global, it's a race for the future, what we're involved in here right now, Andy. And,
yes. Yes.
It's a race for the future. And it all starts, as you say, with education early on. The ages that of the people that are changing the world are getting younger and younger as this technology accelerates. So it's none of us who are cutting edge on the technology. It's really recent grads, right, of colleges and PhD programs and such. So
it's an really evolving industry, that's for sure.
Right.
It's an evolving industry, that's for sure.
Right.
Yeah. I'm on your website, and the mission being to inspire innovation and recognize student excellence from pre-K to career in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. For you folks who are interested, you can find this at nstem.org. The letter N, STEM, STEM.org. And I do want to play a video into this program. Andy, you tell me if you're set up for that or not.
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Okay, let's play this promo into what Ken is talking about.
I don't know what that dream is that you have. I don't care how far-fetched it might appear to be. I don't care how disappointing it might have been as you've been working toward that dream. But here's what I know. That dream that you're holding in your mind, that it's possible.
It's one small step for man.
You've dedicated yourselves to helping others and to making their lives better and healthier and longer. And every day you will be actively and specifically making this world a better place.
Every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understands the power of connection.
You have to know within yourself that I can do this. Even if no one else sees it for me, I must see it for myself. That's necessary.
That's remarkable, Ken. And among all the videos that I saw on the website, I chose that one because it really is dynamic.
For the millionth time in a row, I just got goosebumps watching that.
Yeah.
That's my very favorite of all of. We've got over 500 videos on YouTube if anyone wants to go check them out. But that's my favorite of all time.
So you came into this particular arena kind of as a greenhorn, but you were advanced in your studies and things of this nature. How did this National Honor Society for STEM get started?
Well, it was the brainchild of my partner, Eric Majors, who is a 20-year teaching vet up here in the Boston area, Manchester, Essex. And he, in 2014, was National Teacher of the Year in Sustainability nationally. Went to the White House twice. to get awards at the White House for Teacher of the Year. So he's
Wow.
the real deal. He's the sort of the mad scientist behind all this. And in 2017, he had this idea, right? Wow, the National STEM Honor Society. He's very into sustainability, and he was trying to figure out, how to help with sustainability. And he came upon this concept of STEM. So really, I was on the board of Seaside Sustainability, which was his nonprofit. And he says, hey, I'm going to start this thing called the National STEM Honor Society. This is years ago. And I'm like, do you know I'm an engineer? And he goes, you're an engineer? I get that a lot, Yeah, I'm an engineer. So anyways, we this literally spun out of Seaside Sustainability, which is an environmental educational nonprofit here in the Boston area.
Yeah. But again, what catches me is a National Honor Society. So give us some feel for where this comes into the process by which the kids are involved in STEM education in schools. What's, we know what we think of as far as honor societies because of our involvement in schools as well. But give us this bridge from daily STEM education into a National Honor Society for STEM.
There are 3 key beliefs. Number 1, that answers your question. We believe deeply in from pre-K to career. Okay. So let's give you an example. If you want a great high school, to use a sports example, right? If you want a great high school baseball or soccer team, you don't start your kids playing baseball or soccer in high school. You start them pre-K, right? In Brazil, they give kids a soccer ball when they're born. I mean, it's really, it's very proven that, start early and have it last a lifetime. So really, we put that first, and it's our moniker. And so we have chapters in elementary, middle, high school, college, and on to career. It's much like sports, where it's a big feeder program. Okay, that's belief number 1. Belief number 2: our kids get recognized every single year that they earn it. Okay, so it's not just a one-time thing. There's a lot of people are familiar with the National Honor Society, which is a terrific organization, been around 100 years, and they're primarily a high school and some middle school recognition, and it's sort of a one-time thing where our kids literally get it every single year if they earn it. And number three message and belief is each year we celebrate this achievement by having our students get full-size Olympic medals. Okay, this is the same size Olympic medal that LeBron James gets, that Michael Phelps gets, right? And what's really cool about it is on the back, there's the opportunity for the school name and their moniker. And then, of course, this is a corporate sponsor. And who wouldn't want to be a corporate sponsor and get their name on the back of these Olympic medals that all these kids are going to cherish for the rest of their lives, right? So this happens to be the WNBA Atlanta Dream, where we had one of our recognition ceremonies on the court at the Atlanta Dream WNBA basketball game. That
amazing
was, in June. So we're going for many more sports teams. And the reason that we use these Olympic medals, you know why? Because we're a global organization. We're trying to have an impact on kids globally. Do you know why that is? Here's the reason for that. Here's what drives us, right? And we're trying to think of, why are we trying to help all these kids all over the world? Because we're trying to expose kids to this. Think about it in another sports analogy. What if Tom Brady never saw a football? Are you with me?
No Tom Brady.
What if he never saw a football and he was never exposed to it? What if we're not exposing STEM to the next kid that's going to help us cure cancer? You know what I'm saying? Tom Brady never saw a football. LeBron James never saw a basketball. Think about it. How you'd go, that's inconceivable, right? Well, we need to get these kids going in science, and lots of them, right? So these are foundational components.
I understand, of course, having been in that particular realm all these years myself, that's where the world is. The world is there in this high-tech environment like our parents never knew, our grandparents could never perceive of, okay? You mentioned a while ago, the kids earn this medal, this recognition by this National Honor Society in STEM. What does it take for them to earn this?
There's 3 requirements, all right? The first requirement is a certain GPA in STEM classes only. Okay, so it's not history, it's not French, it's not English, it's science, math, and technology, right? And that GPA is a 3.0 out of 4 or equivalent. Now, why is it that? Why is it a 3.0 and not a 3.5? Well, we want the tent to be big for STEM and getting bigger, right? We want more kids inside the STEM tent because we need them. I mean, the jobs of the future, the whole future relies on our kids getting educated in STEM, right?
Yes.
So that's requirement number one, GPA in STEM classes only. You can raise the GPA, but you can't lower it. Okay, so if somebody wanted to make it a 3.5, they could, right? Two, number of STEM classroom hours. Again, it's not history or French, and it, as you can imagine, those hours go up as you go from elementary to middle to high school and college, right? And
Yes.
the third requirement, which is probably the most important, is the number of hours annually of project-based learning and enrichment. So a lot of people have heard of PBL. If you guys, it's project-based learning. It's really where there's a theorem and they're learning stuff and they're failing and they're succeeding and they have a theorem going in and they learn about, wow, that's why I study molecules, because this really,
Yeah.
this really melds well with like my classroom learning, right? So the other things that PBL stands for and the number of hours required per year are very important. Project-based learning, think of it, project-based learning where they're solving real-world problems, and play-based learning, which is where education is going. Education is going to gamification, okay? And COVID accelerated this trend because a lot of kids are learning out of this box that we're all staring into right now, right? So that has accelerated the gamification. What does it do when you gamify learning? Well, it makes the kids more interested, right? And it leads them a lot of times through AI to really learning on a really rapid basis using a game. So those are the three requirements, and I could go on and on about them, but those are the three basic requirements. So if they meet those three requirements year after year after year after year, every single year, not only do they get a whole row of Olympic medals, much like someone who ran the Boston Marathon year after year, but they also get this amazing resume builder. Imagine, we always think about, I played football in high school, right? Oh, I played football at Marist High School, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. How about I was in the National STEM Honor Society, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. Wow.
Yes.
Cool. We just started a partnership with U.S. News and World Report College Advisor. U.S. News and World Report just came to us and said, listen, we want to form a partnership with you. We see what you're doing. And it's really all about helping kids get into a lot of the best colleges and colleges that are correct for them. So I just literally signed that agreement yesterday, and it's very exciting for us.
Well, congratulations, man. That's great.
Thank you.
At what grade level does the National Honor Society for STEM come into starting minimal?
It's pre-K.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I know that education does there, but the recognition and the awards go that low as well.
So yes. So what do we want to do for that pre-K and that K and first and second grade kid? There's no GPA requirement. There's no STEM class requirements. What we want to do is we want to be the bright, shiny object, right? We want to expose Tom Brady to a football, right? That's what we want to do, right? And then develop a lifelong learning as Tom Brady is like, wow, this is cool. This is football. Right. That's what we want to do. So that's what it's all about. But it's experiential. They go to nature parks. They get goop up to their elbows. We call it STEMmersion, STEM immersion. Right? So we want that young kid to just get sort of like, this is so cool, all this science stuff. I'm having a ball.
Right.
Have that carry the day. Right.
Yes. And I can see the emphasis on that. I'm just, again, going back to the qualification of a pre-K kid for a National Honor Society recognition.
And let me tell you what's really interesting.
Yeah.
Is because, and I hate to keep using sports analogies, but when you look at our world, you're in Texas, right? I don't have to tell you guys, sports is awfully important, right? I mean, Texas, you're in Texas, right? So what's really important in the world today is sports, literally rock stars and movie stars, right? What we're trying to do is have science, technology, engineering, and math education come up more toward that. That's the reason we've got these. Yes. Because not only does every kid in Texas and every mother and father in Texas know what that is, every single person in the entire world knows what that is. 192 countries, they all know exactly what that is. So it's really, recognizing and inspiring these kids from a young age and rewarding them in a we're working with now in Tampa, Florida, with one of the big school districts down there. And we're really trying to get our kids get recognized at the Tampa Bay Devil Rays baseball game next May. We've had the WNBA Atlanta Dream. That's our first one. And now we're really working on baseball teams. You got to think about what sports are going on in May and June every year. Well, it's baseball, it's the WNBA, and it's soccer, right? Football is pretty much over, basketball, etc.
Right, right, right. Um, the the element of growth of a child in this particular arena of STEM. First of all, is this being offered as main courses in schools now, or are they still electives?
Well, what happens is this becomes the National STEM Honor Society when a school gets a chapter. So every school has a chapter, right? So every elementary, middle, high school, college has a chapter.
Kind
And
of like a club.
yeah, and every chapter has a chapter advisor.
Okay.
Now, or advisors. Now, the chapter advisor is the equivalent of the coach, to continue with the sports analogy, right? And
Yes.
the coaches, what's a coach? They're excitable, they get along great with the kids, they're very motivational. So these are the kinds of things that we're always looking for, that STEM champion. So when you get that STEM champion inside the school district or school itself, they drive this chapter and the excitement of these kids, right?
Of course.
So what happens is they have, chapter meetings once a month. They're doing science fairs, they're doing sustainability projects, energy, AI, robotics, drones. What we want to do to continue the sports now, how kids kick the soccer ball in the backyard, they throw the football. We want them doing drones in the backyard. Right? That's what we want. Hey, let's go do some drones, right? I mean, so what we're looking for is we're looking to permeate. What we're trying to do is the parents, again, going back to this, they are so proud of their kids. I've seen them go, they cry. First of all, I've seen them cry. And they go,
Yes.
hey, Johnny, you're getting this every single year. Is that clear? Right? And so what happens is not only, there's two things that happens to a parent. One, they well with pride because their student is finally being recognized similar to an athlete is being, the baseball team, the football team, all the banquets and all the awards and everything, right? The
Right.
kid of the STEMmy kid is finally getting recognized and has a community of STEM. And number two, the parent gets involved, much like they get involved in their football or baseball child, right? So
Yes.
there's tremendous advantages with the parental involvement and pride. That's what we're bringing to STEM.
Yes. There's something we said about working on AI in the dining room. I know.
Right? Exactly. Hey, look at all this cool stuff, mom, dad, and then have mom and dad really involved in that, in
Yes.
all these different STEM activities.
Okay, so how many countries are involved?
We're
with you?
coast to coast in the U.S. now, and we're in 5 countries. So
Are you?
we're in, and we just, that's all within the last, I would say, 6 months, right? Is our
Okay.
international expansion. So we're in Thailand, and I looked it up. We're at the International Christian School in Thailand. Okay.
Okay.
We're in Kenya. We're in Ecuador. We've got the Naval Academy in Ecuador. We got 7,000 kids in Ecuador from K to through high school, and they all wear whites.
Oh, really?
Ecuador
Wow.
Navy is the Navy school, right? The kids,
Yes.
right? It's amazing. We are in India and we are in South Korea, a very advanced school in South Korea. So we hope to be in at least 5 or 10 additional countries by the end of the year. And in fact, we're very focused on India. I have a 27-page business plan just on India.
Yeah, you told me today that this was where you were focusing your today's activities was on India. Now,
Well,
what do you
the
think?
U.S. and India are two, very technologically oriented, and
Yes. Absolutely. And the kids in India often prove to be a lot smarter in broader fields than we're producing here in this country. And
well, there's a
amazing
focus
to
on it.
us.
Wally, there's a focus on it. If you're a kid in India, as I learned, and you're not an engineer or a doctor, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's really kind of the expectation. And, and we got some brilliant kids here, but I think sometimes there's a focus that takes us off in terms of Instagram, wanting to be a YouTuber or something, which is all
Sure.
fine. But I think there's lots of distractions here. They're very clear. They're very
And-
clear.
And don't forget about the spelling bees. How
Right?
many Indian kids are winning spelling bees over the past number of years?
I
Just
would
blows,
think a
blows
lot,
your mind.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
So, what is your message to America today as we are cementing our arrival into an all high tech future that, again, as I said before, our parents never knew, our grandparents never even imagined? This is where the world is headed, into a high tech world, from space industry all the way to AI. What's your message to today's parents and getting their kids ready for this?
Well, right now, the United States is number one in the world in technology, right? And that's pretty well known. Everyone wants to go to our universities. They want to go to MIT. They want to go to Harvard. They want to go to Illinois, where I went. They want to go to Georgia Tech and Stanford because of engineering, right? So that's where we are today. But for the first time of the top 50 universities for engineering in the world, India now has 3 or 4 of them. China has a whole bunch of them, right?
I
And
know
it used to
China
be
does,
completely dominated by the US and the UK and Switzerland and other countries that you'd think, Germany, et cetera. So there's a whole shift going on. The number of PhDs that China graduates every year relative to the number of PhDs, I'm talking about in engineering, is astounding. And their number of college graduates in STEM versus us there's no competition there. So there's a real focus that we got to get on our bicycles here. We really got to roll, we got to move. So we got to but what we want to do, we want to make it fun and exciting. That's why the project-based learning, play-based learning, and problem-based learning is so important, because, if you just say, all right, study math, people are like, well, why do I care about math? Well, here's all the school stuff. See how math applies? So it's this combination of grade point average, classroom hours, and project-based learning that is sort of the secret sauce, right?
Yes.
So that's why it's the 3 legs of the stool of what we're trying to encourage the kids to do. But the biggest one is probably project-based learning, because it's interesting and exciting, and kids can sustain their level of interest and accelerate into this global competition that every kid in the whole world wakes up, they tie their gym shoes, they're competing with a kid from China, India, Australia, Germany. It's just not down the street anymore. Believe me, it's a global race for the future.
Amen. It's amazing. Well, we're going to stay connected with you going forward, and we want to receive your press releases and your special announcements and things of this nature. We're at the cutting point now in our program, so we're going to end this interview. But Ken, I thank you so very much for your commitment and your investment in this program, and thank you for joining us for our show today. We're looking forward to staying connected with you.
Absolutely. It's been a real pleasure. Andy, thank you. Wally, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this.
All right, Wally. So did you leave me some time or not?
I didn't leave you much, brother.
All right. Yeah. So I love the definition of science, the study of God's creation. Of course, I love to read and discover that, the Bible really was the source of a lot of it is the source now of the machine learning. Jordan Peterson's brother is on the forefront of that. He said the Bible was the first published work, and that's where we're getting to the neuro programming, the language, and so forth. And then, of course, a lot of our pioneers were the thinkers. My own daughter just recently graduated at the top of her class, summa cum laude at A&M, under the forensic science. She's a forensic scientist. What? How did that come from us? But anyway, thank you, Ken, for your great work, for pioneering this. And definitely, we need to encourage, these free thinkers, creators, innovators to come to the forefront and be recognized and championed. Again, you're watching Coffee with Wally WebXtra, where understanding our times becomes clear over caffeine.